Hare Krishna.
Hare
This is
Krishna.
this is Parijata Devidasi from ISKCON Communications, and I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of the GBC Strategic Planning team to this Facebook Live interview. We have done several interviews so far, and today we have a project which is ISKCON Desire Tree, and ISKCON Desire Tree actually needs no introduction. Devotees have visited ISKCON Desire Tree to access unlimited devotional content over the last 2 decades. And today we have with us the man who is behind it all, and he's going to talk to us about what actually happens behind the scenes and how they make it happen. So I would like to extend a warm welcome on behalf of myself and on behalf of the GBC Strategic Planning team to Vaishnav Seva Prabhu from the ISKCON Desire Tree. Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
warm welcome to you to our Facebook Live. Vaishnav Seva Prabhu resides in Mumbai with his wife Kalindi Devi, and he is a surgeon, a practicing surgeon at the Bhaktivedanta Hospital. He is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and he has actually seeded several online initiatives. And he's also the founder of ISKCON Desire Tree and more recently the Hare Krishna TV. There is a lot to know from what's happening at ISKCON Desire Tree. So without wasting any time, we're going to dive right into this interview. And here we are with Vaishnav Seva Prabhu. Prabhuji, my first question to you is, as I just introduced you and mentioned that you are a practicing surgeon at the Bhaktivedanta Hospital, probably a lot of devotees are not aware of this. But it's very interesting that you, as a busy surgeon, how did this idea to have an online project, take seed? How did you have this thought, and how did it all happen?
Well, thank you. Basically, everything has happened by mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Guru Parampara. I'm just trying to be an humble instrument. Basically, since last 34 years that I am with ISKCON, right from the beginning, I've been very fortunate to get myself involved in some form of the seva, and most of the time the seva has been related to the media. So initially I used to be handling the audio recordings at Chowpatty Temple, the sound system, and gradually that spread. And then I had to take a break from my seva because I had to finish my medical education, which was a top priority at that time. And then when I resumed my work at when I started my work at Bhaktivedanta Hospital, I thought of resuming my seva of connecting devotees to the recordings and things like that, because one of the best I always felt that this is one of the best seva. This is the way I have interpreted, is to help devotees become Krishna conscious, help them to connect to various wonderful spiritual leaders that we have in ISKCON, and help them to gradually increase their Krishna consciousness. So I always felt that this was the highest or the best form of help that I can give to the society, to our Vaishnava society. So then when I joined Bhaktivedanta Hospital, before that there was an intense period where I was also a project in charge of Bhaktivedanta Hospital, constructing the whole place and commissioning the hospital. Once that phase got over, then I wanted to get back to the connecting devotees to the holy name and the lectures and things like that. So the first thing that I did at that time was, of course, I was taking care of the sound system and the tape ministry and things like that at Chowpatty. But when the hospital inaugurated, I ensured that every room in the hospital, there is spiritual vibrations there. So either in the form of Hare Krishna Kirtan by Prabhupada or lectures of Prabhupada. There are two channels in the hospital. every room. And then once I did that, a lot of people, devotees in the surrounding area, there's a lot of congregation who stays around the hospital. They started requesting me that if I can provide the same facility at their house. And we also had the facility in that whenever there would be live programs from Chapati, I would ensure that they get relayed on the circuit. So that way, it was a very attractive thing for the devotees, and a lot of devotees were hankering for this. So based on their request, then I started laying cables in and around the hospital. Almost I covered 2 to 3 kilometers radius around the hospital and connected about 100 plus families, Vaishnava families, to the hospital and my place. And so whole day, devotees at their house can enjoy Prabhupada's kirtan, Prabhupada lectures, and also get live from Chapati. Then once I did this, it became a big attraction. Many devotees were feeling, it's better to stay in Mira Road because you get this added facility also. Besides so many other things like we have Radhagiri Temple, Bhaktivedanta Hospital, and things like that. But many devotees at different parts of Bombay then started requesting me if I can start a similar seva in their area. I did survey, but then it was, as a surgeon, it would become very difficult for me to run a cable company like this. So based on that, then we started. I started digging into how I can reach out to devotees. The holy sound, and then one of my inspirations was also His Holiness Sridhar Swami, who was at that time stressing a lot on computers and internet, and I happened to hear him a couple of times. So then I thought, okay, let me try this internet thing, and then I started hosting lectures from Chopati on website. So that was the first website, radhagopinath.com. And then then after I started hosting lectures from Chapati, a lot of devotees requested me to host lectures by other spiritual leaders, in ISKCON, so that it will help them to hear so many other leaders also. So then the name changed to ISKCON Desire Tree, and we started hosting lectures there. Today we have on our server more than 250,000 audio files. Daily about 13 to 15,000 files get downloaded, and the whole services are totally free. On the back end, we have staff working here at various places. We have staff at Chapati, at staff at Juhu, staff at Mira Road, and we're all busy collecting the audio and hosting it on the website. So this is how the seva started. And besides the audio websites, then we got requests from many devotees to start many other features. So we started many other websites also along with that, and just try to see that how we can serve the devotees. In 2002, I had started ISKCON Desire Tree. So it's like 18 years we have been trying to play, trying to be an instrument and try to serve the devotees. We got very good response from devotees. Devotees are happy, and the best part is that they're getting it free. The website works very fast, and there's unlimited downloads. We don't restrict devotees from downloading. There's no membership or subscription, and so we are just distributing the the holy sound free of cost.
Thank you so much for sharing this slice of history with us. In fact, I was a part of this. In the initial days, this was the foundation of my devotional life. A lot of devotional content, especially a lot of audio in those days from the ISKCON Desire Tree. So thank you so much for sharing that. And so over the years, Prabhuji, what has been your mission and what has been your vision in terms of ISKCON Desire Tree?
But basically, ISKCON Desire Tree works. It's basically trying to help devotees become better devotees, trying to provide resources to the devotees so that they can help themselves, their families into more and more Krishna consciousness. Also, it provides a variety of speakers from all over the our ISKCON universe, so that devotees understand the different aspects of devotional services. The various flavors that are there in our beautiful society, and they get a much mature outlook of Krishna consciousness.
Um, so, your project, I mean, this is not something which is based at the temple, but it is something which is very crucial and critical for devotional life of many devotees. So, could you share that what have been the values which have oriented your work?
The main thing is that we always wanted to help devotees. Wherever we felt that there was an opportunity to serve the Vaishnavas, we on in the online platform, we always try to see how we can serve them, and we always try to keep the cost to the devotees zero, so that there is no hindrance. Like, there will be people from different economic backgrounds, but as far as the spiritual sound is concerned, we just want to just distribute it as free as possible. So our focus has always been, in trying to connect the devotees to the various wonderful leaders in ISKCON, and so that they get a lot of knowledge from them. So we've been working in the background trying to connect the devotees to the leaders.
Um, Thank you. One thing which I have always been very curious about, and during your first part of your question, you mentioned that, and then we started Desire Tree. So, can you share a little bit about this name, ISKCON Desire Tree? How did that come about? Is there some history to this? Or?
No, I mean, there's no great story about that, because we keep hearing in the class, about the Kalpavruksha trees in the spiritual world, which can provide you whatever your desires are, obviously to serve to serve Lord Krishna. So, so I just initially felt, I wanted to ensure that the name ISKCON is there. I was well aware of the trademark and the copyright issues and all, but I still wanted to give this as an offering from my side to ISKCON. I wanted ISKCON to be there because Prabhupada always said, ISKCON is my body, and that's what I wanted to serve. So I kept the name ISKCON, and I thought maybe Kalpavruksha, but that would be difficult for devotees to type on in the browser. So then I said, okay, maybe Desire Tree would be easier. Obviously, the name is a bit too long, but I felt it had that's the brand, that's the way the services are.
Yes, you have actually been fulfilling the desire of a lot of devotees to get access to unlimited online content over the last 2 decades. Can you share a little bit about? You say that you started it small. It was just you who initially started this in a small suburb where you lived in Mira Road, and gradually expanded over Mumbai. Uh, I would guess that you would also have a lot of other people joining you. Probably you have a few members who are part of your staff, which has expanded now. So, can you share us something about your staff? Are they also devotees?
Yeah, initially I was doing everything myself, like in between operations when I would have breaks, I would go to my house, which is just adjoining Bhaktivedanta Hospital. And I've been trying to, do things myself. But slowly I realized, with the, like anything connected to Krishna is always ever expanding. So I slowly realized that, this is going to be difficult for me to handle. So I started to recruit people. So best thing was, I thought, to have devotees connected to this. So I started hiring devotees. The idea was, when you hire, it is they obviously they are more responsible than when it is just on a voluntary basis. So I felt, the best thing is that I hire people, hire devotees, and that way, what happens is the devotees also get an employment opportunity, and plus devotees understand the devotional language much better. So gradually, I started engaging a lot of devotees. There are many who would be probably be dropouts from college, and people having some kind of a socio-economic issues, and parents who don't want their children to work in non-devotional environment, for spiritual purposes. So, these were various categories, and especially a lot of Mataji girls, so basically I started hiring. So one by one, now today we have a staff strength of 32 devotee employees, and the best part is they all come from various backgrounds, various language backgrounds, various social backgrounds, and disciples or followers of various spiritual masters of ISKCON. So it's like a rainbow, of like there are devotees of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, disciples of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Radhanand Maharaj, Jayapata Maharaj, like various people all working under one roof, with very good interpersonal relationships, and with the sole objective of serving Srila Prabhupada's mission. So I personally I am very happy, and I would say I'm also feel very proud that devotees from various walks of life, devotees of various spiritual masters, are all able to work very nicely, unitedly, under one roof, and trying to serve the Vaishnav ISKCON Vaishnav community.
Yes. You mentioned when you were introducing the ISKCON Desire Tree project that you started this on your own, and you said one thing that you really emphasized was that ISKCON Desire Tree is free for all. The content, downloads, everything is free. So, how do you actually support the project?
Krishna runs it. uh, well, once upon a time, I was thinking of becoming a brahmachari in Chopari temple, but then I realized I was not so qualified, and their standards were very high also, which was good, which was really good. But then I said, okay, and I was halfway through my medical education at that time, so I decided I'll complete my medical education and start working. So if I would have had been a brahmachari anyway, I would be working for free, like all our exalted brahmacharis in ISKCON. But then I was not so qualified, so I decided to join Grihastha ashram. And before I when I met my wife first time, I made things very clear. And my wife Kalindi is very cooperative, very understanding, and I would say better devotee than me. I'm just trying to start my Krishna consciousness. So based on that, on her support, so she also works in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. She is the chief anesthesiologist there, and she has the department of 7 anesthetists there. And so we work in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. Hospital is one of the best places, which Bhaktivedanta Hospital is the best place that we realize that is for us. It's a Krishna conscious environment, and the hospital is administered by devotees, and it's a wonderful place. It's helped us to support our Krishna consciousness, to support ISKCON Desire Tree. And so whatever revenue that comes from that, when I serve the patients, whatever fees that they pay to the hospital pays us. And through that, I have been trying to support the various activities of ISKCON Desire Tree. So that is how it's somehow going on. But now, of course, we have this corona problem, and that's a big issue for us. And financially also, it's a big challenge now. But let's see, Krishna always has his ways of doing things.
That was amazing when you shared that you actually support the project through your profession. You and your wife both do it. I think that's such an amazing example for the devotee community. Another thing which Prabhuji we wanted to mention, I wanted to kind of really get an insight into is that um, you are dealing with a large scale of audience, and how much of your work is actually proactive in terms of generating and sharing positive content, and how much of it is reactive or preventing, uh, in the sense of addressing negative remarks or sites.
Yeah, one of our goals has also been to see that a layman understands ISKCON the way Prabhupada wanted them to understand, and doesn't get distracted by negative things. Of course, eh, it's a huge society with different type of people there, and it's in material world, so sometimes things may go wrong, but that's a very minor aspect of ISKCON. The largely, it's a wonderful society, and I'm very happy that I choose to be in ISKCON. So what we do is we try to study, like what are the negative sides, and what are the negative news, and we accordingly we try our best to ensure that all said and done, still the general public, when they come to Google or YouTube, they get the right content and they get a right understanding of ISKCON. So this is always there in the background, of planning.
Um, Thank you. Before we move forward, I would just like to mention to our viewers that if they have any questions, if they have any comments, you can please write them in the comment section, and we're going to take this up later on after we finish our basic questions. Prabhuji, can you share what have been your challenges in making content? You've done run the website and its different handles over the few years. So, what has been your challenge in terms of making the content relevant and relatable?
Yeah, basically, so we started to web, and we slowly spread the apps, and
Uh,
spread the videos,
if I
and
would just interrupt, I think I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think your audio is a little weak compared to the earlier. I think we just want to check.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me now?
I think this is a little low. Maybe you want to try.
Is it better now?
A little, but I think not the same as how it was before. I think we had great audio before this. Maybe some
Hmm.
of our viewers can just share how are they feeling. Can they hear him? Maybe you can just comment so we just get in sense. Would you like to just speak something, Prabhuji, in the background so we just get in sense if we are able to hear you? Are you audible? Vaishnav Seva Prabhu, can you just speak something in the background which would probably help us to understand if you are hurt?
This is your host,
Hare
and
Krishna.
seems we have some technical issues because here he's back on. All right, there we go. Let's put him back on. He dropped off.
Hare Krishna. Okay, is it
Okay.
better now?
Yes, yes, we are. This is clear.
I'm sorry for the interruption.
It's an online world and we expect these unexpected things. So this is just natural and normal.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
no problem. Just want to tell our viewers if you have any questions, please you can just mention them in the comments and we will take it up later on. And the question we were at is that what are the challenges that you face to make content which is relevant and relatable to the audiences?
Yeah, yeah, that's the most important thing, and that's one of my gurus has been His Grace Pancharatna Prabhu, who always has been telling me what kind of content should be there, and looks at my content and sometimes gives me very good feedbacks also. Uh, yeah, it has to be relatable, and basically we have worked on various forms of content, whether it's text based or video, audio, all those various formats. uh, we see what has happened is over a period of time we have been serving the devotees in the form of ISKCON Desire Tree. However, slowly we have realized that now we started in an era where making website was a big thing. To make a website, it's like not everyone could make it. But now, slowly from there, we moved to Facebook, Twitter, and various other social networks. And slowly, gradually, over a period of time, every devotee has probably become a publisher now. So I realized that the devotee universe was there was a time when there was no content, or very less content. I would say very less content, and we were providing content. We still continue to provide the content, but the devotees themselves have started to publish and write and do many things. So we moved from devotee. Our focus, one of the focus continues to be on devotee community, but largely now we have our focus on the non-devotees. So the entire universe, which is filled up of non-devotees. The devotee community is a minority community. So, trying to see as to how they can be attracted to Krishna consciousness. So we have, and nowadays video is the best media to communicate. So we have moved to YouTube. We on our YouTube channel we got more than 1 million subscribers, and we get daily we get about around 180 to 200,000 views. And so we keep a check on how our videos are performing, and accordingly we know that this is whether the people are able to connect to the content. And we try to see that we can introduce Krishna consciousness in various forms to the non-devotees, so that they gradually they take up this they take up to Krishna consciousness. So we that obviously that's a main focus to help them connect to ISKCON.
Yeah, I think besides the ISKCON Desiratory portal, the website, and Facebook, I think also the Hare Krishna TV is in a large way helping to connect to the new audiences, and to devotees, or I wouldn't mean devotees, but people who are favorable towards Krishna, to understand more about Krishna. So, do you have any sense of how many visitors that you connect to are actually practicing devotees, and how many are new people?
See, that's a little difficult to say because, say, like for example, YouTube analytics speaks about the kind of the gender and the age group and the geography and how long they keep watching the video and things like that. But it's difficult to pick up, with how many are devotees and non-devotees. But I would say that when my target was devotee community, that's still going on. But when I moved to the non-devotees, our viewership has increased exponentially. Our YouTube channel is basically, we're trying to see how we can address to devotee community as well as non-devotee community, and it's been getting a lot of views. And so so this is how things are going on.
You just mentioned some amazing figures sometime back. So, in relation to your overall project, in terms of your website outreach, in terms of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the Hare Krishna Today, uh, would you like to share some figures? I know you have some really big and amazing figures to share. You just mentioned now that we have some expositional outreach. So, can you just talk a little bit about the figures, like the big figures that you have?
Yeah, see, when we started our YouTube channel, we were small, and over a period of time, as I said, we got more than 1 million subscribers and 180 to 200,000 views per day. Now, once we went on the YouTube, we realized that the huge amount of population in India, even today, is glued to television. Things are changing a little bit in the Western world, but in India, still television is a mass media, and a lot of religious organizations are of various faiths are using television in India to connect to the masses. So I felt that this, although our society, ISKCON society, has passed 50 years, and we did produce some television shows, but we never had our own television channel. A dedicated television channel for which runs like 24/7, only Hare Krishna. So I took a risk and I said, okay, we already producing videos for YouTube. So we had some material already rolling in. So that is the time when I said we will start, we'll see if we can make a television channel. So we made two studios in Mira Road, and we increased our staff strength. As I said, we got 32 staff now, and we started shooting a lot, and we started to request a lot of devotee preachers to start giving a lot of content. And our television channel is licensed by the Ministry of Information and Broadcast. It's a full-fledged television channel, and it's a satellite-based channel. That means, from the signals from our the playout goes to the satellite, and from there it gets distributed to India and the surrounding countries. And to reach it to the final viewer, you need a support of the last mile connectivity of the cable operators and the dish operators, the DTH operators. So we still have not got support from the DTH operators, but cable operators, we've been gradually been able to convince them, because this industry involves a huge amount of money, and we don't really have that kind of money. So we have to request every cable operator to carry Hare Krishna TV, and the best part of Hare Krishna TV is that we have no commercials, no advertisements, no slot selling, no astrology stuff selling, and tele shopping and things like that. It's purely 24/7 Krishna consciousness. So we go to cable operator one by one by one. So today, see, in India, if you consider, there are 200 million homes which have television. So in this 200, that's our target. So far we have crossed 25 million homes. So at least that many people we are able to reach Krishna consciousness. So that in itself, for a channel which is just 1 year old, is a good number. But it's all by a mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnavas. And it's still a long way to go. From 25 million, we still need to stretch to at least 150 to 200 million homes. So, but we've started the marathon. We have devotees who are dedicatedly going every day out, to meet various cable operators throughout the country and try to help, request them. We're also hoping that the devotees will keep pursuing with whoever have television sets, they will pursue with their cable operators or their DTH operators and keep telling them, please carry Hare Krishna TV. We want that. So this is our metrics on the TV. I still do not have the finer figures, the kind of viewership and the area and all, because again, to get that kind of rating and figures, you need a lot of finance, and that's not possible at this stage.
25 million homes. That's
Yeah.
huge. That's huge. That's phenomenal outreach. And I'm just thinking that how relevant this would be in today's situation during this COVID-19 times, because a lot of people are actually stuck at home. The whole world scenario is actually changing, and I think this would be so relevant to so many people that they can connect to Krishna. They can connect to so much of content, audios, videos, darshans, which they would otherwise not be able to. So I think it makes it so relevant. What has been the impact of COVID-19 on your respective seva?
Yeah, I mean, when the coronavirus just started, being a doctor, I could get a better idea, and we prepared ourselves much in advance, before the general society started to realize what they are, walking into now. So in the very early days, I moved my staff all work from home, and so we moved all our equipments, our the heavy video editing computers to respective devotees' houses, and provide them with sufficient data so that they can keep editing and collect the data from them and put it on the TV stream. So that's first thing that we did was we were well prepared in advance. We were not suddenly surprised by what was going to happen. Also, many people felt that this is going to be a short-lived thing, but I could understand as a doctor that this is going to last for long. It's not going to get over so fast. Because typically every pandemic, average it goes for a year or two. At least for sure, 2020 is going to be bad. And the place where I'm located in Mumbai, Maharashtra, is the worst affected in the whole entire country in India, and the numbers are growing, quite a bit. So then plus then realizing that now that the general mass of people are going to be stuck up at home because of the lockdown. We need to ensure that they keep they and this is you see this is also a good time when their minds are open up, to asking questions to themselves, and also they tend to be more spiritual. This is another thing that I realize as doctor, that this is the change that is happening in people's mind. There's a lot of frustration and so many pro emotional issues. So this is also a good time where this is a time actually when they really need our help. So so this is a time when we really need to reach out to them, and try to help them in their problems, and see that how they can face this COVID situation in a much stronger way, in a much more integrated way, and in a more holistic way, and not get so miserable. And so we started, we in fact we increased our production. We're putting up a lot of good shows, new shows, and every day on the TV we provide, besides the YouTube, which we've been already handling. We've been providing live darshans, especially from Juhur Temple and Chopari Temple, and that same is provided on the television channel also. So every day, 5 times. People cannot go to the temple to have darshan of the Lord, but at least sitting at home, then they can have a darshan of the Lord. And also we putting up a lot of music so that it is more soothing, and it's cooling to them. And we are also trying to we are not getting any negative news about coronavirus on our television channel or on our websites. We're just trying to keep positivity, and the best positivity is Krishna consciousness. And this is something that is what we have been doing. Over the last 1 month, our viewership has increased quite a bit. We have a helpline. Every day, my staff is handling a lot of phone calls, continuous phone calls, which keep coming from the viewers, and we're just trying to help them and counsel them and guide them. And we've been getting extremely good response from our viewers. They've been, calling up and thanking us for whatever we've been providing them, and we've been very happy, to keep hearing from them. Coming the calls coming from various parts of the country, right from Assam to south to north and west, of course. And this we are in. So we are walking on the right path. Even on our YouTube, our viewership has increased by almost 30%, and a lot of engagements are happening. We've been trying to guide people to get in touch with devotees as and when the lockdown opens up, and we're also encouraging them that they should buy books, and get start their journey of Krishna consciousness.
This is amazing, Prabhuji, that during this challenging times and times of crisis, a lot of people are feeling emotionally, mentally, and probably spiritually challenged. Of course, there are other challenges in relation to finance, economics, and all. But you have given people a wonderful opportunity to connect to devotion, to connect to spirituality, and to know more about Krishna. So I think that's so amazing. That's so relevant. In fact, I have to mention that today it's Mother's Day, and on one of your forums, through one of your forums, I actually got a message that today on Mother's Day you can actually connect to us, and if you want, we can offer prayers on your behalf. And this was a message for all the mothers, so I think that was so relevant, so appropriate. Um, so I think. How do you think that you are? What scope do you see in the preaching area during this COVID time?
Okay. I would definitely want to mention two things which I forgot to mention. One is that I'm extremely thankful to the team of Desire Tree Sevaks who are working with me. They are wonderful devotees, very inspiring to work with them, and it's they are very fertile in their thinking, and trying to see as to how we could, they have got that missionary spirit. They want to help in Krishna consciousness, they want to help connect people to Krishna consciousness. So that's one thing. Second thing is about the financial part also, that we do get some voluntary donations, although the donations are very small fraction of our expenses, and we hope that devotees support us more financially. But I would definitely want to thank all our donors who have given us right from $5 to whatever they can, to small to medium donors who can help us out. And especially during these times, because our office, everyone is working from home, and so there are many other issues that come up, and the expenses also go up, and the income, my personal and my wife's income also has fallen drastically, because we cannot work like a normal, our functioning is not like normal, so finance is definitely an issue. But yes, with regards to the corona period, I feel that ISKCON overall has to keep this realistic timeline in mind, and understand that this is not something that's going to get over in a month or two, and we need to gear up. Post COVID, the life is going to be different, and we have to be very positive in our approach, not spread negative news in our WhatsApp groups, and on our websites and things like that. Never ever criticize, never ever say that this is all part of bad karma, although we understand philosophically, but we need to at this time be very sensitive to the miseries and the problems that people are going through. We need to set up constantly counseling, online counseling, because there are a lot of people, having a lot of anxiety about what's going to happen next in their life. They have got financial issues. They are bored sitting at home. They are frustrated, and we need to counsel them. We need to counsel the patients who are increasing in numbers day by day, and we need to counsel the families. So this is the right time when ISKCON has to move into all these areas, at least on telephone or online, and try to see that how we can support the humanity to face such a big medical challenge. We also need to understand the economic fallout. We also will, there's economic fallout also going to be on devotees. It's also going to be on the temples, and we need to gear up and to understand how we are going to take care of that. We need to encourage giving, in our community, and overall, we need to support each other, and also we need to take care of the vulnerable population, that's the elderly sitting at home, and the kids, and see that how they can be engaged well in Krishna consciousness, and not to think about corona whole day, and it's before the virus strikes you already half dead. That's not the situation that we want. So also we need to help, encourage small groups, to preach within themselves, and help other people around them. And also we have to keep in mind that many devotees will lose their jobs, And so we need to also see that how they can be engaged online, how they can be engaged, and in a positive Krishna conscious way. And a lot of these things are going to happen. Problems are there for devotees as well as non-devotees, and our community really needs to get geared up to all these challenges, and we have to go out of our way and help people, and overcome the mental agony and the physical problems of this disease. At least 2020 is going to, it looks bad, and we don't know how long this is going to last. Suddenly deaths are occurring in families, and it's such a miserable thing. But we know one thing, that material world is temporary. Krishna consciousness is the best solution to all the problems. So we have the solution to this. I mean, this is we Krishna consciousness has the solution to all this thing. What we need to do is look into the practical aspects and see that how we can apply that and help people, live a much balanced, holistic, and a peaceful life.
You have so wonderfully summed up, Prabhuji, what is the reality today. What a crisis at all levels we all are going through. And I'm sure there are so many people out there who must be so grateful to you for helping outreach as a surgeon, and as a devotee, and as the founder of the project of ISKCON Desiratory. We want to just come back quickly to the title of this session. Our title of a session was How COVID Has Fueled Online Outreach. Would you like to a little bit touch upon that and just speak about how do you think that COVID has stimulated this aspect of online outreach?
I think ISKCON community is doing great. So many devotees have started their, podcast, and the live YouTube, Facebook, and so many things. It was a big challenge for me always, to trying to convince devotees to come online and give content and things like that. In one sense, thanks to COVID, devotee community is getting more in on the online platform in one sense, and the Zoom meetings and so many things are happening. And I think we are, as a community, we are moving in the right direction, and devotees are very creatively using all these tools. I'm in touch with many of these devotees who are doing these things, and I'm very happy that they're able to connect to more and more people. But there obviously, there has to be one question also at the same time, because like when we are giving a class in a Bhasya Bhagavatam class or a Gita class in a temple hall, and when you're doing things online, online is more private. So we need to also build check and balances, and we need to see that whether we are more able to moderate some of the content and some of the speeches that are happening. So that's something, but that's a small part of the whole thing. But I think overall, the ISKCON is doing a great thing, and there are more and more platforms coming up, Google Meet, and WebEx and GoToMeeting, and so many things are coming up. So already there, but we are actually now. Zoom was there, but we started using Zoom so much now. So this online thing is good, and we are basically more busy connecting to devotees, but we also now need to see that on online how we can connect the non-devotees and help them, get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Before we move forward, this is just the time that I want to mention. We have reached the 45-minute mark of our interview. I just want to tell our viewers that if you have any questions, please put it in the comment section, so that after we take up one or two questions after this, we can come back to the your questions in the comment section, and Prabhuji can answer them. You just spoke a little bit about the changing face of the world, and I think who would know that better than a surgeon, and also as a devotee who is connecting to so many audiences. Can you share, or would you like to offer any insight, any guidance, any advice to our audiences, to our devotees or our well-wishers who are out there, especially during this COVID-19 situation?
Yeah, a few days back, I was just hearing a small address by His Holiness Radhanand Maharaj to the COVID health workers. The first thing, of course, that he said, and it is so logical, and it really we need to do this, is that first we need to take care of our own selves. If we cannot take care of our own selves, how can we take care of others? Many times as devotees, we get a little transcendental and don't look into the realities of life, and that's something that we are really risking ourselves. We are creating a potential problem for our family and our Krishna conscious society, as well as the society in general. So all of us, we need to be extremely careful, with regards to whatever guidelines that have been given by respective governments to their citizens, and we have to be responsible, and we need to set our own example. People should understand that ISKCON devotees are the most well mannered, and they're really taking care to ensure that the disease doesn't spread. We may not be able to kill the virus, but at least we don't want to become carriers that can kill other people. So we need to be very careful that we follow the guidelines given by the governments, the local governments, and we be very careful. We know that the temples have to be extremely careful that they don't allow anyone enter, or any virus coming in through any other formats, any other forms, because the DTs are there, and we need to serve the DTs around the clock. And if there are positive cases in our campus, then the government in general locks down the whole place, and that affects the and devotees get quarantined, and that affects the service to the DTs, and also it gives a bad name in the society of our ISKCON temple. So we need to be extremely careful, and we need to practice social distancing, hand hygiene, and all other guidelines that are given by the government very strictly.
Thank you for sharing that valuable advice coming from a devotee who has compassion at heart, and also from a surgeon who is seeing the face, how the changing medical face on a daily basis. We are now just going to quickly run through some of the comments. Vaishnav Seva Prabhu, I have to mention that there are a lot of devotees out there who have, given some very encouraging comments to you. I think they're really so appreciative of your service. I'm just going to read out their names. We just want to honor them, coming here and connecting with us and spending time with us. We have Pramod Sawant. We have Anand Saraugi. We have Gaur Gopal Das Adhikari. They have really appreciated your service. Some of them say they know you, and you're just doing amazing work. We have Raghu John, who has also written to us. There is Jagdish Murari Das. He says that Hare Krishna TV is helping many to practice Krishna consciousness, and even ISKCON Desire Tree YouTube channel and site has helped millions of lives who don't have access to base centers of temple in their area. Thank you very much. We have Shivas Jeevan Das, and we have Nikita Sati. They also have, just expressed their gratitude to you. We have Prakash Chincholikar. We have Dudhamrit Das. Dudhamrit Das is also one of our staff members. He's in fact based here in Drew, doing selfless service during this COVID times. And he has also expressed his appreciation for you, and I'm sure he's so grateful to be part of your team. Besides that, we have Anadi Krishnadas, we have Digvijay Gunjaria, Shushanta Mana, Sunitra Sui Singh. Okay, we have Sunitra. She has a question. How would Prabhu like us as nurses and doctors to help him in his service? We can see the question which is reflected here. How would Prabhu like us as nurses and doctors to help him in his service? What can we do? This is Sukanti Radha Devi Dasi. I think, she is really encouraged to help. So Prabhuji, would you like to kind of, just reply to her?
Yeah, wherever you are. I mean, you are probably yeah, you are a nurse in England, UK. So you be compassionate to the patients and protect yourself, of course, first, and help others, and see that how they get touched by your healing hands, and connect them to Krishna consciousness, which probably you may be already doing so well. And at the same time, we as devotee community, medical devotee community, we need to keep sharing information with each other. There are a lot of things going on. Some misinformation also comes. A lot of information is suppressed. So as devotees, also as the medical devotee community also needs to be connected to each other, and we understand how is the disease going on and what all things we can do for the patients, besides just a pure pharmaceutical medical treatment. We need to connect to each other. We need to have our own groups, where the devotees who are facing the challenges of the disease are connected to each other, supporting each other, giving strength to each other. It's not an easy thing for the medical fraternity to face this disease, leaving their families behind and going to the front line of fighting the disease, saving patients' lives. It's not easy. There's a lot of emotional churning that happens, and we definitely need support of each other. So that's a nice point, Mataji, that you have brought up, and I think we all should get connected to each other and just give strength to each other.
So we hope this answers Sukanti Radha Devidasi's question. We now have a question. I think this is a little personal question which is addressed to Prabhu, and I think this is coming out of compassion. The kind of compassion he has in his heart for other devotees is the compassion we see from this person. There is Digvijay Gunjaria, and his question is, I mean, to be such a selfless servant in this world is very, very rare to be seen. So, what's that keeps him going with such strong service attitude? He has restricted his sleep, his food habits, etc. So, Prabhuji, here we have Digvijay ji who is concerned. Uh, would you want to respond to him?
Well, we have got so much of inspiration from so many devotees around us. We have the renounced, the order, the brahmacharis, the sannyasis, and so many wonderful grahasthas in our community. And there's so much to learn and get inspired by. And I think whatever little bit service that I might have done, I owe it to all of them. They all have been my sources of inspiration. The various spiritual masters and the various Prabhupada disciples. So, there is, we have to understand one thing, that if we want to, if we are staying in this miserable world of birth, old age, disease, and death, the only way that we can keep our sanity, to keep our mind peaceful, is by trying our best to see that how every moment we can be engaged in Krishna's service. Somehow we can keep connected ourselves to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, although we are totally unqualified and we don't deserve anything. But still, somehow by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his followers, we were in touch with Krishna consciousness. So we keep ourselves busy, somehow keep connected to Krishna consciousness, and also try spreading Krishna consciousness, because by doing that we attract more mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityanand, and that way we keep our life balanced.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Digvijayji, for your question, and I hope it's answered. We have Anadi Krishna Das. His question is there need to be consistent in some important aspects of devotional life? If yes, how can we become consistent?
See, just I'm not very sure whether I'm the right person to give this answer, but I've tried to practice that. Whatever seva I take up, I do it on a long-term basis. And before picking it up, I try to make sure that I can do this on a long-term basis, because the tendency of our mind is to jump from one thing to another. And many times we start a seva, it looks very attractive and very inspiring, and but after some time, because we are in material world, so obviously the problems of material world, we'll have to face them. So there will be challenges, and whenever the challenges come, actually it is in one sense Krishna's mercy, Krishna's blessings. There have been n number of challenges that has come to even me in my doing my whatever small seva that I'm doing. And but at times the challenges are so difficult. Challenges come from the work, challenges come from the devotee community, the challenges come from the organization. But overall, I realized one thing, that we just keep on trying to serve Srila Prabhupada, keep Krishna as the center of our activity, and not have any selfish motive. All the challenges are extremely helpful. I thank the devotees and whoever has put me in challenging situations. I know that they are well wishers. There no one is having personal agendas. But whenever there have been challenges that have been coming up, they generally they become a stepping stone to success, stepping stone for doing more service to Krishna and Srila Prabhupada's mission. So challenges is something that we have to accept. And so when we are consistent in our service, we should not run away from challenges and try to change things, try to change our location or seva, but rather to face it. And if we are consistent, then slowly there's more churning that happens. And I think there's more purification of our own conditionings that happen, and it really helps our own journey to Krishna consciousness. It helps us to understand the facts of life, and it makes us take up Krishna consciousness much more seriously. Running away from challenge will never help. So it's always better to take up a service and try to be as consistent as possible.
So, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, I hope this has answered your question. We have touched our 1 hour mark. We'll just take a last few couple of questions. This question comes from Shrivas Jeevandas. What is the future of outreach preaching through Hare Krishna television? As Prabhuji says, fund is limited, then how TV will come on leading DTH networks in near future?
See, although we are into era of internet and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and so many other things, television in India, as I said, is still going to play a very important role for the next 5 to 10 years. And so we need to, and that's a place where the masses are. So there's a huge scope for us to reach out to the masses. And I hence feel that we really need to, and historically, so many spiritual organizations have been using television to connect to masses. And if we are not there, then we are not, when we are missing out to a lot of population. And basically we are not letting them get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's our duty that we try to see that we use all the means of mass media, and television being the most important, to ensure that we get onto more and more television sets on get more and more people watching Hare Krishna. And so it's a big struggle. Because see, when we go to DTH operator, when I went to the various DTH operators, every time you go, they ask for money. There's something called carriage fee, that they say, okay, you want to be on Tata Sky, you need to pay so many crores every year. Now we don't run ads, and we don't really have that potential to, even if we think of running ads, we don't have that potential of generating that much revenue that we can pay for their carriage fees. So it's just not feasible for us. So for that reason, we need to be, so what is really required is whoever devotees and their friends and their neighbors and their relatives, they have, say, Tata Sky, Airtel, Dish TV, Videocon, please keep telling your cable operators or your DTH operators that please carry Hare Krishna TV. If there is a public demand, that they want Hare Krishna TV, then naturally these people will be pressurized to carry Hare Krishna TV without asking any money from us. So for doing that, we are requesting devotees in the entire ISKCON community to keep pressurizing on a regular basis, keep writing mails, keep writing, keep writing messages, post messages on their Twitter handles that we want Hare Krishna TV. Please carry it on your DTH platform or cable operators. So this way it will help us a lot, because you see, we with money we cannot, we don't have money to buy off all these networks, and to help and convince them to carry Hare Krishna TV. The only thing that can convince them is the viewers. And if the viewers, the customers, if they demand, then the company has to provide that. So we request all devotees in the entire community to keep on a regular basis, keep pursuing with your respective cable or DTH operators, and not just yours, but your friends, your families, and your neighbors. And hopefully this will pressurize a lot of them, and from 25 million we'll be able to cross the mark of 150 million then. So we need the help of all of you to help us reach Krishna consciousness in a much wider audience.
I'm sure they'll be happy to help. Here we have Bob, and he has said Hari Bol from the Avatar Company. We have a request from Sunitra Su Singh. She mentions that, is it possible to have regular Zoom meetings for devotee doctors and nurses worldwide? You can share your inspiration and information. And we also have Satish Vishwakarma, who feels that he is feeling a little worried about people not understanding about ISKCON being ISKCON is the only medium to know the Supreme Lord. Satish, thank you for expressing that. And we are now going to take a last comment, a question actually from Mohini Madan from Pune. She mentions that, could you please share some of the most important lessons you have learned in all these years of service? So just like summing it all up here, that.
So basically, we have to try to become humble instruments in this mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On our own, we cannot do anything. We need blessings of the devotees, and whatever we do, we have to understand that Krishna is the doer, and we just we just need to persist with our sevas. We should not get discouraged by problems that keep coming, and we should be open and to take up challenges, and of course our own personal sadhana has to be as strong as possible. And we see that we chant our rounds regularly at the right time, and we and hearing is one of the most important things. What has really helped me in my life is that every day I keep hearing, and every day I hear almost every day I hear Prabhupada's lectures, and I hear devotees of various temples speak on various topics, and that's something that really fuels me. That's something that really keeps me driving. So we need to keep a very good association of devotees, and this is what I would sum it up with.
Thank you so much for answering these comments and questions. I mean, personally, for me, I have been so inspired by your example and some of the truly deep lessons that I have learned from you and your family over the years in Krishna consciousness. And you have actually lived up to your name of being Vaishnav Seva, that you're not just a surgeon of, medically, but also surgeon of the heart, transforming so many souls over the time, implanting the seed of bhakti into the hearts of 100,000 and millions of people across the globe. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your time, for this insight, and for so many valuable lessons that you have shared with our audiences. We at the GBC Strategic Planning team wish you all the best, you and your team, that You can just achieve great heights in connecting to people, being an inspiration for hundreds across the globes, and carry this message of Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to every town and village. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you
And
very much
for
for giving me an opportunity to speak and also personally inspiring me and my wife by your example in your life and all the devotees around. And especially, I would like to thank Panch Ratna Prabhu. He's been always a source of inspiration for me, and there's a lot that I have to still learn from him. And thank you to all the SPT GBC members. Hare Krishna.
Also, a thank you to Radha, Rasik Rajdas, Amit Patel. Thank you very much for your comments. The comments are still coming, and I think you have to come back later, Prabhuji, and just see all these comments and all this outpouring of love that devotees have for you. Also, a big thank you to Panchratna Prabhu, who is the man behind the scenes who has actually made this thing happen technically. Not only this interview, but he's been part of most of the technical support for all the interviews which happen in the GBC strategic planning team. So thank you very much, Panchratna Prabhu. And for all the viewers out there, this video is going to be there. This live is actually going to stay on the GBC strategic planning page. So please, you can go there and listen to this again, like it, and share it with your friends. And stay tuned for more. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.